Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Ken, and you are here for another episode, and today we are talking about the Sony Fx3 because it's been talked about a lot. Alright, so I'm sure some of you are aware about the new Sony Fx3 cinema camera. Now, if you aren't aware of it, I'll give you some of the specs on the side here and you'll kind of see the list of specs. I'm not going to actually go through all of them because there's been so many videos done about this already, and my take isn't really going over each feature. It's mostly just what I think of the camera in today's market and why this camera may be the camera that people switch to from the A7S III, or the people that are in the gap market for the A7S III and the A1, and I think this one could be a pretty good contender. Alright, so I'm just going to quickly answer one of those questions, and that is, why does it make it a good contender? Now, I'm not saying contender as in competition between the actual Sony cameras within its own lineup, because that's totally not the case. But the fact is, Sony released the FX6 last year, and that was a smaller version of one of their cinema cameras already existing. Now, the Sony FX3 is similar in size, I believe, as the A7C, which is a full frame camera that was also released last year. It's almost like Apple. Okay, I'm gonna use this analogy, and I used this analogy before, not in my videos, but when I talk to other people, is Apple would be the people who kind of dominate the industry in the cell phone industry, and also maybe the iPads and, you know, the tablet industry as well. But specifically just talking on the phone industry, they are leading in that department. And the fact that Samsung, their competitor, usually comes out with newer technology, more advanced technology than Apple does, only because they're the ones who are releasing it first. So just imagine Canon is Samsung in this case, because Canon first came out with the 8K R5 and then also the R6 as well, which is supposed to be the cheaper one. But the 8K raw compatibility of shooting 422 10-bit in a mirrorless camera, that was unheard of. And then obviously it had this whole overheating issue, and you know the story from there. It has a firmware upgrade where some people claim that it fixed the issue a little bit. But anyways, my point is that Canon is like Samsung. They release that new technology, and then Sony will come in later, kind of investigating, kind of seeing how this all goes with Canon, and then we'll release a more perfected version, because then they'll be able to just dissect Canon's camera and see where they went wrong. Anyways, that is my take on it, and where I want to kind of focus with the FX3 is, where does it line up in terms of in between the Sony A7S III and the new A1 that is currently existing. Now, apparently with the 12 megapixel, it's going to give a really good low light performance. But I think where the actual significance comes in is the ability to have attachments onto this cinema camera, like all the other cinema cameras with Sony. You can have a top handle, you can have an XLR input, and it can all be done by the hot shoe mount. But the one problem we have here is no EVF, which is the electronic viewfinder, which usually you just look through it and then you can see where your photo composition is, because some people just rely on that more than the LCD screen on the back. Now, if you're shooting video, that's probably not going to matter too much, because you most likely have an external monitor that you're going to view it anyways, so that's not really an issue. This is more of an issue for photographers if they want to use this camera as a photo shooting camera, which is not actually made for that, but I'm guaranteeing people are going to use it for photo as well, because the A7S III has pretty good photos. I mean, you can blow it up to a 15:6 photo and still get decent quality, unless you're really looking at that photo real close. So where I actually think the FX3 is going to take most significance is the competition against Blackmagic. Now again, this camera, if rumor is true, is going to be released maybe a week from when today's video is going to be posted. So it's going to be pretty soon, and we're still kind of rumoring about it. Now, they say 4K 120p, which is great. The sensor size is still in question. We're not really sure if it's still 4K or 6K. Maybe 8K is out of the question now, and some people have confirmed that. But 6K can still be an option, and that will compete against Blackmagic. Now, most likely, if this is a cinema camera, it is gonna have the S-Cine tone, which a lot of people still want in the A7S III with a firmware update, but we'll see if that happens. So another point I want to bring up is the actual price of the camera. They're saying in and around the $3,795. That's actually pretty specific when people say in and around, by the way. But anyways, that's the number in euros. So $3,795 in euros. And I don't know what that converts to up in US dollars or Canadian dollars, so I'll have it somewhere up here. But that's gonna put it around in the same range as the A7S III. So people are gonna wonder whether they should upgrade, they should sell it. I don't know if it's gonna be much of an upgrade, to be honest. If you have the A7S III, I would just keep it in my mind. But if you want to get the newest and latest, then obviously go for the actual FX3. Oh, also another thing with the actual price of the camera, Sony has this accessory that you can put on with other cinema cameras, and the combination of that accessory with the top handle and the XLR input is generally around $500 US. So I'm not sure if you're gonna have an actual body only package and as well as having a top handle and the XLR input accessory package, because they can just add that $500 onto the price tag and it'll kind of fall in between the A7S III and the A1. But my final reason for the significance of this camera is the new AirPeak drone. This AirPeak drone is supposed to be able to take any of the actual mirrorless cameras that Sony has. But I think that this camera would be specially made for it, just in case you wanted to purchase that drone, because the actual Sony AirPeak drone is supposed to be coming out for consumer market very soon. So if you have this nice clean body with the actual cinema body that you have, and without all these extra buttons on the top and stuff like that, I think that's where the actual quarter 20 threads are going to be screwed in to the actual gimbal function of the Sony AirPeak drone. So obviously these are all kind of like my visions, my wish list, my opinions. So what's your opinion? Comment down below, because I'm gonna wanna know what you think about the new FX3. And also, I'm gonna have a separate video coming up very soon about maybe 4 different other cameras that Sony has in stock for us, and not a lot of people are talking about it. So I'm gonna actually post that very soon, and you'll see that as well. So subscribe if you haven't already. And if you like this video, smash the like button, and I will see you guys on the next one. Today's a short video, sorry guys, but I gotta go. All right, peace out.